More than 2 new breweries each month. Denmark has seen an enormous growth in beer producers last year, while the total beer consumption declined steadily. Although traditional Pilsner still comprises 19% of the market, small breweries are gaining ground. A beer revolution, says the Danish Brewers Association. Frank Lund opened his local brewery in the summer of 2006.
It started as a hobby in the kitchen and by some friends, and by the time people started asking me if they could buy the beer I'm making, I thought about it and talked with my wife, and we agreed that we should try to make a brewery, and then we did it. I'm also working at the library in Aarhus, so I have 1 full day in the brewery per week, and then I work also in the weekends. Beer is not just beer. That's the main reason it started rising, because then they want to pay more for good beer. It's local, it's new, it's interesting. If you compare to red wine, you also have cheap red wines, you have expensive red wines, and you have red wines with a history. So I think that's the same with beer. I can make very small batches. I brew 120 liters per batch. That makes it very flexible. I can change very fast to make the kind of beer people want. When having all this beer in the cellar, you have to be strict with yourself not to drink too much beer. The Danish beer enthusiasts, they have done a huge work in getting people aware of the taste of beer, not just drinking it, but tasting it.
The important thing on a very big brewery beer is that the price has to be low, and the beer doesn't have to offend anybody. If you can buy a beer from abroad from like 20 crowns, then why not buy a beer from your local breweries for 30 crowns? People who are interested in beer also nowadays generally have the money to buy these very expensive beers. Because it's the local brewery, and maybe even you know the people there, and you've been to a arrangement or a tasting with the local people. So it's like you get into this this thing that this is not just any beer. This is the beer, and you know the history, and you know how you have maybe seen how it's been produced and stuff like that. Many people are now saying that with over 90 breweries, it can't go on like it has for the last year, but we haven't. I mean, they're still living, and there has been no brewery closed yet. But there will come a time. We just don't know when you'll see some of these going out of business.
Every time I talk with another brewery, it's like we are friends, and we can discuss how we are doing things. But at the same time, it's easy to see in the shops that there are really many beers on the shelves right now. So there is competition, but it's in a nice way. I'm doing a lot of interesting things that I can do because I'm so small, or the brewery is so small, and I hope that's one factor giving me a chance to survive.
We're not going back to only having, 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 industrial breweries. We're never going back to that time again.